Rainbows of Royalty by Triniary, Chapter 16, The Plan. The walk back was a largely quiet one. Rainbow Dash's efforts to engage Sakura were wirelessly fruitless, as the zebra refused to say anything on the question of Nightmare Moon until they reached Ponyville. Aside from an occasional warning or instruction to change direction to avoid the perils of Everfree, Sakura was silent. Rainbow kept an eye on the skies for any sign of the shadow bolts, but either they had been tossed pretty darn far, or were keeping their distance from Sakura. The trees thinned down, and the two travelers soon found themselves on the outskirts of Ponyville. There wasn't any pony out. Every door was shut and locked. Every window was barred with blinds being drawn. It didn't even look like there was any lights on. For all she knew, every pony in town could have upped and left. Dash looked around. It's like a ghost town. For me, this is nothing new. It's like this every time I come through. Sakura replied, her tone empty of any trace of emotion, be it bitterness, sadness, or even mild annoyance. Sorry, Rainbow Dash muttered, feeling oddly guilty and embarrassed on behalf of Ponyville. Guess they aren't just used to seeing zebras out here. Small town and stuff. Sakura inclined her head in acknowledgement, but said nothing more. Dash coughed. The library's up ahead. The lights are on, so I guess every pony's still there. So he went up and knocked on the door. There was a clip-clop of hooves on the wooden door, right before the door opened wide, revealing Twilight in the doorway. Rainbow Dash! She smiled. You made it! You're back! Hey, yeah! Did you find anything? Twilight frowned and shook her head. We didn't even know where to start, so we just picked every book we could think of that had to do with Nightmare Night and ancient lessons, but found nothing. What about you? Did you? Steel was shoved aside by Applejack's hoof. Did you find that creepy Sakura? She asked, shoving her snoot in Rainbow Dash's face. Did she do any of that creep voodoo on you? Applejack. Rainbow coughed, tilting her head behind her. As he looked, and saw Sakura give a small wave of her hoof. Oh. The Orange Farm Pony's face turned red. Twilight and Rainbow Dash both glared at her. Twilight stepped forward hesitantly. We're really sorry. You'll have to excuse Applejack. It's just been a rough night. We appreciate that you came all the way out here. She gave a small, shy smile. My name is Twilight Sparkle. Some more chorus smiled gently. A lovely name for the time between day and night. Appropriate, too, considering the evening we must fight. Twilight flushed and stepped back to let Rainbow Dash and Sakura in. So, was it a good trip? She asked Rainbow Dash, eager to take the attention off her. Pegasus shrugged. Ran into a little interference from those shadow bolts, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle, she said breezily, ignoring the looks Sakura gave her until she poignantly coughed. Quickly, Dash added, plus Sakura here? Now she was awesome! Took care of those guys like it was nothing! Well, also even like to do it if it wasn't anything like you couldn't handle. Applejack asked with a grin. Rainbow appeared flustered as he mumbled some inconsistent explanations until Verity stepped forward. Really, for all your madness, must I introduce myself? She gave Rainbow and Applejack a jaundiced look before addressing Sakura. I am Verity. She gave a prim nod. Sakura inclined her head. I am Sakura, as you already know. Such wonderful manners. A fine breeding it shows. Why, thank you. Verity tossed her hair. And I must say, I love what you've done with your coat. Such an avant-garde look. Verity! Rainbow snorted. First off, she's a zebra. All their coats are like that. It's what they're born with. Secondly, not now, or preferably ever. Dwight Unicorn sniffed. Well, just because some of us cannot appreciate the importance of a good appearance doesn't mean we all must show such disregard. I, for one, would welcome the chance to design an outfit for Sakura in the place of that tatty old cloak of hers. Perhaps a splendid thought and one most appreciated, Sakura chimed in, heading her off. Though perhaps when I come to town, you should not act like your store has been vacated. Verity gave a strangled sounding cough and stepped back. Pinkie Pie, who had been in the kitchen, hopped in. Oh, we're sorry, Sakura. How about we make it out to you with a big part? Shh! Applejack cussed her as she removed her hoof from the party pony's mouth. First ass point's lucky to blade, remember? That made Rainbow Dash grimace. Sakura, those shadow bolts we fought, they used to be ponies. My friends. Then Lear has a daughter and... I understand, my friend, Sakura said softly. They can be saved, on this you can depend. Rainbow's face lit up. You mean you have some wicked spell that can change them back to normal or something? That I'm afraid I cannot. The zebra frowned. Nightmare Moon's magic changed them, and unless we defeat her, it'll all be for naught. To save your friends, we must enter blind. Only then can everything be alright. Twilight set her curiosity and overwhelming nervousness and stepped forward. That's why Rainbow Dash went to find you. We need your help to stop Nightmare Moon. Yeah! So do you know any spells that'll, I don't know, freeze Nightmare Moon in time or banish her into a volcano or something? Dash asked, flying around Sakura. The zebra shook her head. My abilities cannot stop those of Nightmare Moon. We must find another way, and soon. Rainbow screeched a hole in midair, suddenly zooming down to face Sakura down. You mean I went all the way out to the Everfree Forest to find you, and you can't even help? What was that stuff you did with the Shadow Bolts all you could do? Are you some kind of one-trick pony? Do not get your tail in a twist. I am no conjurer of cheap tricks, Sakura shouted, raising her voice. But it will take an older, deeper magic than I possess. So kindly keep quiet if you want to achieve success. Twilight gently tugged Rainbow Dash away from Sakura with her magic. That was that good to flummox. Why do y'all talk so strange? Determining who is normal and who is strange is a task that's harder. Wouldn't y'all say, partner? Sakura asked, stretching her mouth in an attempt to imitate Applejack's accent. So, did Sakura imitating Applejack's accent, which I also can imitate. The meta-ness of my third year is increasing. Des let out a bark of laughter. Pinky giggle. It's funny because you talk silly too. Applejack looked remarkably put out. Was to speak to two laugh harder. The laughter was soon interrupted by the pitter-patter of tiny hooves as the great blur barred down the stairs. Memories! Dinky! She barely had time to get out before the tiny lavender-gray filly hugged her. Did you find Mom? She asked hopefully, staring up with wide pleading eyes. Firesight crept down the stairs after her. Oh my, I'm so sorry. She heard the commotion and wanted to come down and eep. She froze when she saw Sakura. I see my reputation has spread far and near. I assure you, you have nothing to fear. She smiled kindly at Fluttershy, and responded by blushing and hiding her face in her mane. Dinky wiggled out of Rainbow's grasp, tired over Sakura. Wow, who are you? I am Sakura, no one to fear. She smiled, kneeling down. What is your name, Doris, my dear? My name is Dinky, the little filly said. Why you got so funny? Sakura smiled, unoffended as he rubbed Dinky's head. I am a zebra from a faraway place, on my kind of striped, from her flanks to her face. She flicked her tail for emphasis. Dinky giggled. You're funny. She rubbed her head against Sakura's leg. Always a friendly filly. I heard you talking. Can you help me, Mama? Sakura took one look at Dinky's bright golden eyes, and it felt her a tight embrace. Do not worry, little one. We shall bring back your mother and the sun. Relieved, Dinky fiercely hugged her back. Rainbow dashed stepped forward. Are you finally going to tell us how? So impatient. Sakura mused as he set Dinky down. But yes, I relent. There is one power that can stop the evil one. A force with which the day can be won. She looked around. Every pony's attention was on her. The elements of harmony, the most powerful magic known. Against the darkness of Nightmare Moon, the power is shown. They trapped her in the lunar jail, and if you attain them, you will not fail. Sounds good! Rainbow Dash popped a hoof in the air. So, just tell me where they are, and I'll go zap that evil hag. Hold on, Twilight raised a hoof. Just what are the elements? The legends are fake. Sakura turned around and started walking around the library. Some say they are 6 stones, bright and colorful, lovely to own. Rarity bit down her lip to prevent herself from squealing. However, Sakura drew every pony's attention back. Others are less sure. They say the elements are the 6 traits of pony kind, strong and pure. Confused and rainless, every pony looked to one another, as if making sure they weren't the only ones who had heard her. So either they're magical like rocks, or nothing at all, just characteristics? Rainbow Dash asked, her voice pure deadpan. Your analogy is simplistic, but not unrealistic. Sakura admitted. Rainbow face hoof. Great. Any other news for us? Let me guess. They were lost 1,000 years ago after a titanic battle, and the only way to find them is to take a long, perilous journey through an uncharted land full of unknown dangers? Sakura wiggled her hoof in a so-so gesture. Des smiled. Sounds fun. When do we leave? Soon as we find some point to look after blanket here. Applejack nodded. We'll be on our way. Excuse me? Rainbow Dash looked at her. When I said we, I meant me and Sakura. Sakura and I, corrected Twilight. No, I meant just me and Sakura, Rainbow emphasized. Missing her grammatical point. This is my job, my fight. You guys are staying here. Applejack butted her head against Rainbow Dash's. Yeah? Yeah! Try 'em, likely. Your point took a step forward, pressing against Dash's head. Pegasus flapped her wings, pressing her own head back just as hard. Maybe I will! Girls! There was a flash, and suddenly Rainbow Dash and Applejack found themselves teleported to the opposite sides of the library. Twilight's horn continued to glow, as if warning to use it again. This isn't helping! She looked pleadingly to her friend. Rainbow Dash, be reasonable. You can't expect to find the elements of harmony and stop Nightmare Moon all on your own, can you? Rainbow jerked as it stung. She thought of all ponies, Zebra and Present, Twilight would trust her abilities enough. Why not? You're saying I'm not good enough? She shot back. Startled, Twilight took a step back. What? No, of course not. That isn't it. Then what is it? Rainbow's all but snarled. I'm Princess Celestia student. I'm the last pony who saw her before she... She shook her head, finding out the memories. I'm the one she said could stop Nightmare Moon, and that's just what I'm going to do! I understand offer no disrespect, but are you sure that is what she meant? Rainbow had almost forgotten Sakura was there until she spoke up. You're remarkably skilled, this I have no doubt. But this is what, in the end, this is all about. Applejack nodded, surprised to finding herself in agreement with the mysterious Zebra. She's right, Rainbow. Like, if you got a lick of sense in your head, you'll listen. Just because you're the princess's student doesn't make you better than us. Rainbow Dash just stood there and looked at Applejack of nosing for the first time. Then she threw back her head and laughed loudly. Ha ha! Are you nuts? You think that this is what this is? I don't think I'm better than you for being Celestia's student. Hey, I had to prove why I'm her student day after day. And is that what you're doing now? Trying to prove the princess's trust in you is justified? Randy spoke up. Darling, I have every confidence in your abilities and the princess's judgment. But our town, our families, our world is at stake. The fashionable unicorn headed hove to her face. The best way to validate the princess's trust in you is to put your pride aside and let us help you. We're your friends. Rainbow Dash tossed her head, furious at herself as she felt hot tears building in the corners of her eyes. Dizzy Dew is my friend! Shiny Armor is my friend! Rainbow stabbed her hoof. You guys are just... I just met you ponies! She looked around, pleading them to understand. I like you guys. I think you're great, all of you. But how can I know that you're up to this? She looked at each one of them, one by one. When I was out there looking for Sakura, those Shadowballs, they're not playing around. They're wearing blades on their waists, doing their best to clip mine. Do you get it? If you go with me, you could get hurt. You could even... She exhaled, panting. I just lost two of my best friends tonight. I don't want to lose anymore. She mumbled. Rainbow Dash. Applejack began. Dexter shook her head. No, AJ! This is beyond all of you! I've done the impossible before. Have you? Rainbow Dash raised her head. For a moment, there was nothing. The silence overbearing, even as Dash gasped for breath. More tired than after a day of stunt flying. Then, there was a gentle list of coughs. Every head turned to the meekest pony of them all as Fluttershy stepped forward. I have, she said softly as she walked over to her old friend. I used to be scared. A weak flyer. Too shy and timid to ever do anything on my own. She looked at Rainbow, saw there were tears in her teal eyes. Then I met the most amazing, impossible pony ever. She showed me how to be stronger, even as she always stood up for me. She nuzzled Rainbow's face. Now I have my own home in a new town, with lots of animal friends, and even some new pony ones, and I'm not going to abandon my oldest friend ever.
If I could do that, then the others can too. We're not gonna hold you back, Rainbow Dash. We're gonna hold you up.
Fluttershy. Rainbow Dash shook her head, speechless.
We're coming, Rainbow Dash. All of us, she said, and I'm not taking no for an answer.
The canary Pegasus let out a startled leap as Rainbow Dash swept her up in a tight embrace. It was Rainbow's turn as Twilight, Rarity, Applejack, and Pinkie Pie all hugged her. Sakura gave a smile as she gave it to the impulse and gave Dinky a hug. Now, we are ready. Chapter 17, Swamp Peril. 6 ponies and 1 zebra stood at the threshold of the evergreen forest. Dinky Doo had been safely ensconced in the home of Carrot Top, a close friend of her mother. What, no Lyra, Bonbon, Raindrops, or Trixie? Secure in the knowledge that the filly was in safe hooves, there was nothing to hold them back from entering the forest in pursuit of the fabled elements of harmony. Well, almost nothing.
We have to go in now?
Verity visited squeamishly.
Ugh, it's so dark and dank and dirty.
Applejack, Rainbow Dash groaned as Applejack shot Rarity an annoyed look. Oh, we're gonna leave. So, does you think saving your kin and country is worth a little dirtying up?
I never said that.
Verity defended herself with dignity.
For Sweetie Belle, I would do anything. But if I could do it and not get dirty, I wouldn't mind.
Well, you can't, so give it a rest. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Rarity humped at this Applejack's cuteness.
Yes, sir, you can't.
Pinkie Pie bouncing between the two.
No, wait, you can't have your cake and eat it, but then you won't have your cake anymore. What you really can't do is eat your cake and have it. That's really hard, unless you can't have your cake in your belly. The second, ooh, when you have 2 cakes, then you can have one and eat the other, she suggested. Can one be chocolate and the other vanilla? But which one would you eat? Maybe if you eat 2 chocolate and 2 vanilla.
Pinkie Pie! Rainbow Dash raised her voice in annoyance. The sudden yell made Fluttershy twitch, as he barely avoided throwing herself to the ground in fear. Dash's eye twitched. Not even has set foot in the forest yet, and already things are getting complicated. Let's just go already! Twilight suddenly looked anxious.
Shouldn't we make a plan first? I mean, there are a lot of things in the evergreen forest to look for. Maybe if Sakura explained them, I could make a checklist and...
Rainbow felt her wings and constantly flexed in frustration when Sakura spoke up. Well, your idea has merit. I'm afraid I must decline. There are too many dangers for me to list, and not enough time. I could show you how to sidestep the battles on the way, but be warned. Follow my lead, or the price you will pay. She cast a severe warning look at Rainbow Dash at that last part, before she started heading in. By silent agreement, Applejack and Rainbow Dash decided to keep out the eye out for the less hardy members of the group. Dash flew above the group, keeping watch from the air, while Applejack headed up the rear, with the same practices he used to herd a flock of sheep. Rainbow canted her head back and forth. The trees of the forest had a more twisted, unpleasant look to those seen elsewhere. Moss and vines grew everywhere, with no sense of pattern or purpose. It lent itself to a very wild, unkempt look, which supposed to make sense, seeing no pony controlled the plants that grew in Everfree. She shuddered. This is an unnatural place. In all of Equestria, everything was controlled by ponies or pony magic. The plants, the animals, the weather. Coming to a place where nothing was controlled, nothing was planned, was like stepping back into the distant pan when ponykind was at the mercy of the tyranny of the old elements. Earth, water, fire, and air, before they had been subdued. This whole forest reeked of anarchy, of chaos. Rainbow Dash shuddered. Ugh. So, Sakura, what's the deal with the elements anyway? She asked, trying to distract herself. Where are they? Our destination lies at the heart of Everfree, on the palace of the royal sister's pony. Candy accepted Canes. She associated with Sakura.
If you knew they were there, why haven't you gotten before now?
Twilight asked curiously. Half turning her head so she could answer, Sakura replied, What need have I have those powerful cause? Ancient magics should not be disturbed without cause. Okay, Arthur, there's no way that is a word. So if you excuse me, I am going to Google search, and I'm going to prove to you that is not a word. That is a... Sweet baby Celestia, that's a word. Yogo? Yoga. Yoga. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. You learn new words. Turning her attention back to the forest ahead of her, she added, "What's more, our journey is perilous. Not one I would make if our situation was not precarious."
Perilous? Oh my, this sounds dangerous.
Fluttershy squeaked. Rainbow Dash looked at her full-hood friend. "Fluttershy, if you want to turn back, no pony will think any less of you."
No. Thank you, but no. I said I was going, and that's that.
She scuffed her hoof on the ground.
If, that's okay with you, that is.
"Now, girl there, Fluttershy!" Applejack patted her on the back, almost knocking her over. "All for one and one for every pony!"
"And ponies for all!"
Pinky added, wrapping up both ponies in a mammoth hug that left them both gasping for breath. Satora chuckled, prompting a frown from Rainbow Dash. "What are you so happy about? We're wasting time here. We've barely made any progress at all." "I would not be sure," Sakura said critically, with a faint nod to the hugging ponies. "Progress is not always measured by the destination, but by the journey's tour." Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes. Yeah. I'll be sure to stop and smell the roses on the way to fight the unspeakable evil. It'll be a real fun trip. I thought time was of the essence here." "It was and remains. What I said, though, clearly has not sunken into your brain." Sakura started walking again. "Also, do not sniff any rose. They are likely to make your head explode." That made Rainbow Dash come to a racing halt, which, considering she was flying in midair, was no small feat. "You're kidding, right?" "Right?" Her answer was only a flick of the zebra's tail, indicating he should follow. Soon, the group was back to walking. The density of the trees and vines soon became so thick that Rainbow Dash was forced to land, grumbling as she did so, in order that she did not lose sight of the rest of her party. A soft mist coated the ground, growing thicker the further they went. Soon, it coated the entire area from them. "Stupid freak weather!" Rainbow Dash grumbled, her feathers practically wilting against the moisture, making her wings weigh much more than they should. Reggie let out a low moan.
"Oh, my hair!"
She mourned as he felt her precious curls fell straight, getting strained on caught in branches or digging on the ground.
"So ghastly!"
"Ah, quit your bailing again!" Rainbow Applejack snorted, herself annoyed as he felt her hat start to wilt under all that moisture. Fluttershy let out a low murmur that no pony heard. Her mane collapsed in on itself, all but blinding her. Strangely enough, Pinkie Pie's trademark poofy mane was unaffected. Twilight, who was right behind Fluttershy, shook her mane out of her way so she could hear better. "What did you say, Fluttershy?"
I thought I heard something.
The creamy Pegasus held her head upwards. Twilight twisted her ears as she strained to listen. There was the hostess of the walking ponies, the faint conversations, the "there."
"Help me. Help me."
The weak voice seemed to waft on the air.
"Oh my goodness."
Fluttershy burst out of the line, running through the mist and forest. "Fluttershy, come back!" Twilight called as she ran after her. "Wait! Do not heed that guard!" Sakura shouted. "There's danger for you all! Fluttershy! Twilight, come back!" Rainbow Dash started into the mist, soon followed by the rest of their company. Rainbow Dash snorted as she raced ahead. This was exactly why she wanted to go alone. Too many ponies, too many things that could go wrong. And speaking of, Rainbow caught sight of Fluttershy and Twilight up ahead as the mist started to thin out a bit. They had come to a stop and looked like they were calling out something at their would-be rescuers. Narrowing her eyes, Rainbow Dash took a giant leap, making nicely by her wings, and landed in front of her two friends, only to wince as a squishing sensation between her hooves. "Ew! What is this?" The smell was so overpowering she almost gagged. Looking down, she saw she landed in the middle of a bog or a swamp. She could see the edge of the, not water, but sludge, she guessed, about 10 feet away. "That's what we were trying to tell you!" Twilight shouted in panic. "We can't move! We have to tell the others too!" "Oh my god, they're in the bog of eternal stench!"
"Stop!"
Fluttershy tried yelling, but couldn't make herself heard. Soon, Applejack, Rarity, and Pinkie Pie had run straight into the muck and marsh and soon found themselves ankle-deep in the muck. "What a darn ice it is, Elias!" Applejack shouted as he struggled to lift her hooves out of the muck. She couldn't so much as budge them. The others were having no better luck as he struggled. Rainbow Dash flapped her wings trying to get some air, but her hopes were anchored fast. Twilight's horn glowed as she attempted to magically teleport herself out, but nothing happened. "Stop!" Sakura shouted from the exit of Mars. "Do not move a muscle or so much as a hair! You have walked into the swamp of despair!" Oh god, that's even worse than the bog of eternal stench.
The what?
Verity struggled to pull her hose out.
This is so nasty!
She whined. Sakura shook her head as she stomped up and down the edge of the swamp. "The swamp has led you astray! I warned you if you stood for the path that you would pay!" "Less talking, more magic!" Rainbow barked. "This stuff is stinkier than royal taffy!"
Ooh, I love taffy. It's so yummy and gooey fun. Sometimes it's so sticky I can't even open my mouth. Bonbon loves making taffy because whenever I talk to her or Lyra, she's always has some against it to me. Isn't she just a nice buddy?
"Why, Piggy Pie!" Death shouted. "We don't have time for your whatever it is! We need to get out of here! How about it, Sakura?" The Seaver shook her head. "Well, it's so easy. I would have done so already. The swamp is deceptive and most deadly."
"But we're not sinking."
Twilight looked down.
"We can't move, but we're not sinking either."
"Not yet," Sakura said tersely, her voice ominous. "The swamp drags you down, not through your weight, but through your mind. Memories, feelings, and the cause of everything depressing and sad you've seen in your time. The heavier your heart grows, the deeper you sink. So if you want to live, happy thoughts you should think." Rainbow Dash looked incredulous. "That is the most pathetic, immature turn ever." Hose laughed as Rainbow Dash picked herself up out of the crater in a cloud that seemed rather abruptly crashed in. Well, crashed really, if you want to be picky. And Hose and his friends definitely wanted to. "Maybe we should call you Rainbow Crash!" Confused Mare shook her head. Why was she suddenly thinking that? She looked around only to find everybody else in the swamp was shaking her heads out, crying out, or just plain crying. Before she could say a word, Rainbow Dash found a new image flashing in her mind. She was 9, sneaking out of the palace to follow Shining Armor home. Her filling mind was all a giggle. This was going to be great. She could follow him back and wait for her to go to bed. The next morning, he waked up to find himself pranked in his own bedroom. Classic! Crashing in shadows, she saw him stop in front of the house and knocked at the door. The front door opened up, and Rainbow saw the head and neck of a pink unicorn poking out the door. They started talking. Then she saw Shining Armor quickly glance this way and that, before leaning in and gave the unicorn a kiss. Little Dash felt her stomach drop worse than it did after an inverted corkscrew. Shining Armor had a girlfriend? Tears suddenly welled up in her eyes as the little filly ran before she started crying out loud. Her heart had felt like it was pierced by a lightning bolt. She felt moisture on her cheek. She raised a hoof to brush away the tear. Rainbows realized the tear wasn't a memory. She flapped her wings, trying to extricate herself out of the swamp. "I gotta get out of here!" Rainbow Dash thought furiously, her cheeks wet. She shivered as she felt a coldness in her belly. Looking down, she saw she wasn't sinking. Her belly was now brushing the surface of the swamp. As hard as she tried to fight it, she couldn't budge an inch. Rainbow Dash scratched her eyes shut and shook her head. "This isn't real! This isn't happening!" As other memories floated to the top, what did she do as Nightmare Moon struck her with lightning? Shining Armor being transformed, Celestia breaking apart into a cloud of golden dust before Dash's very eyes. The swamp was now chin level. Rainbow Dash closed her eyes. It wouldn't be long now. A happy peal of laughter suddenly disrupted the unhappy fog of memories she found herself lost in. Looking around, or much as she could with her neck deep in the muck, Rainbow Dash saw Fluttershy, Applejack, and Twilight were in about the same boat as her. Twilight's hair somehow became a frightful mess, hairs randomly poking out every which way, giving her an off-kilter look. She was sobbing, apologizing for her parents. What Rainbow Dash could only guess was Twilight's disastrous entrance exam. Rarity's cries had reached a high pitch that made it almost impossible to understand her. And Applejack, who was right next to Rainbow Dash, was sobbing quietly. The only thing she could hear was the farm boy saying, "Mama, Daddy." But out of all of them, Fluttershy looked the worst. Her face a mess of stream of tears poured down her cheeks. But when Rainbow Dash looked at Pinkie Pie, she saw the pink party pony prancing about in the swamp, not held down in the slightest. She was smiling and laughing. "Pinkie Pie, what?" Rainbow croaked, her voice constricted with emotion. Suddenly, Pinkie Pie was there, rubbing Dash's mane.
It's okay, Dashy. Ozzy Pinkie Pie will take care of everything. Don't you worry."
Oddly enough, the feel of Pinky stroking her mane made Rainbow feel safe. It reminded her when Princess Celestia would do the same for her when she was upset. But why aren't you stuck like the rest of us? Daz protested. Aren't you ever sad?
Silly pony. Of course I am. Every pony is sad sometimes. The trick is to remember that the sad don't last forever. And to always look on the bright side. In fact...
She cleared her throat. Rainbow Daz could hear music coming from somewhere as Pinky started to sing. Everybody, with me now!
Some things in life are bad. They can really make you mad. Other things can make you swear and cuss. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble. Give a whistle. And this will always help things turn out for the best. And...
My Python fans, on three. 1, 2, 3.
always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
Piggy started whistling. The sight of her capering and dancing around, in spite of everything, made Rainbow smile. Just the act of grinning made her feel more free. Others had small, tiny smiles start to tug on their faces. Thus buoyed, Piggy finished one song. She went into the other one, another.
Come in every pony, smile, smile, smile. You'll fill my heart up with sunshine, sunshine. All I really need is a smile, smile, smile from these happy friends of mine.
By this point, every pony and zebra was smiling at Pinky's sadness. Hardly noticed that he stopped sinking into the bog. And when Pinky got to her grand finale,
everything is perfect. It's falling into place. I just can't seem to wipe the smile from my face. Life's a happy song when there's some pony by my side to sing along. I've got everything I need right in front of me. Nothing stopping me. Nothing that I can't be with you right here next to me. You got everything that you need right in front of you. And nothing stopping you. Nothing that you can't do. Now that the worst can throw at you. Life's a happy song.
Piggy stopped and gestured to her friends to stop sewing in. When there's some pony by your side sling, Applejack chimed in.
Life's a happy song when there's some pony by your side to sing.
Twilight smiled. That ring made Rainbow smile also. Soon, every pony in Sakura was smiling and joined in on the final line. Life's a happy song when there's some pony by your side to sing along.
It's just not a pony pick until I sing at least once.
Rainbow Dash pumped her hoof into the air, only to realize it was no longer stuck in the ooze. In fact, all the trapped ponies pulled their legs out of the swamp in slight relief, freed from his grip. On the bank, Sakura reached into her saddlebag and pulled out a hoofful of powder. She gently tossed it onto the swamp and chanted under her breath, Azureth, Metreon, Zinthos! Azureth, Metreon, Zinthos! The swamp shimmered, and the ooze seemed to dissolve into normal, if muddy water. What does he tell you? Avasak asked. For the strength of your laughter and joy, the magic of the swamp I was able to destroy. It is no longer a threat, but the normal swamp, warm, muggy, and wet, through which ponies can stomp. Rainbow flew over to the hero of the hour. Pinkie Pie, that was amazing! Smiling, the big pony really hopped up and down.
Oh, silly, it was nothing really. Laughter makes everything better.
Sakura, beaming wildly, made her way back to the front of the group. Come, my friends, we have much further to go. The night will be long, and the dangers many, long before we can strike the final blow. The world we're waiting for, Applejack yep. Let's get a move on! Yeah! The others shouted as they trotted off, spirits rising. What's up, Nightmare Moon? Rainbow Dash crowed. Here we come! Why do I feel like there should be some awesome music right around here playing as they do this? Some heroic instrumental. Oh, I got it. The music that plays when Kirk and the others make it back to the Enterprise after Wrath of Khan.